Hot people are emotionally intelligent. So if you would like to be hotter, you have to work on your emotional intelligence. And today I'm going to tell you exactly why. But before I do, exactly how, sorry. But before I do, I'm just going to say why it's so important and it makes you hotter. Is because it improves your social skills, it improves your ability to solve problems, it improves how you show up stably, right? It essentially makes you more stable, it makes you more aware of everything that's going on around you, which gives you more control in every situation you're in. And who isn't attracted to somebody who's stable and knows, how everything's going on and everything's in their control? Because the more independent and stable you are, the more attractive you're going to be to other people. It's just a hot thing. Now, number one, jumping straight in, is the point to build self-awareness. Self-awareness is so important because you need to build a deep understanding of your own self. You can only control and manipulate that which you know fully. When you build an in-depth understanding of yourself, this enhances your ability to be able to control your reactions, to identify your triggers, to know exactly how and when things happen, and be so emotionally in control of yourself. And when you understand yourself, you also have empathy for other people. Because, for example, me, I think the reason that I have a lot of empathy as a person is because I understand myself so fully. And I know how it is when somebody might not understand something. So naturally, because I've studied myself for so long, I see that in other people. I notice that in other people. So it's going to be good for yourself. It's going to make you feel better. And it's going to make the people around you feel better. Which is very hot. It's very attractive. Another tip for this is to make it a point to think consciously. For a while, I made a note to myself to only think consciously. And it gets really weird because then you start realizing what thoughts you're repeating, what emotions you're repeating for no reason, how illogical you're thinking in certain situations, and you can actively change it in the moment. That is what emotional intelligence is to understand your emotions, but not be controlled by them. And I think that's very rare nowadays because people are very controlled by their emotions and reactive and whatnot. I used to be very like that, but I'm not like that. Now, reactions is a huge thing. So it is very attractive when somebody just knows how to control their reactions and is very, at least I know that I find that attractive when somebody is in control of themselves, and I'm like that. I'm attracted to myself basically because of. Now, one tip for controlling your reactions is to pause before you react, because when you have that small pause, your prefrontal cortex, which is your executive function, is basically the logical thinking part of the brain, that activates, and therefore in that pause, that tiny little thing that you do, it's going to give you the chance to think very logically, and instead of reacting, you can actually choose. Because when we react, we don't actually pick, we just do it without kind of thinking properly. We don't think logically when we react and then we regret it later. But when you have that pause, you actually can sit and analyze. Why is there a fucking fly in my face? It's flying around me like I stink or something. So your logical and rational mind can take over in that moment, which is exactly what's going to stop you from reacting. Another thing you can do is actually say the emotion that it is. Say what you're feeling, and don't only say like anger, sadness. Like when you're able to really precisely pinpoint exactly what you are feeling, for example, frustration, irritation. I often say I feel really irritated, don't irritate me, stuff like that, And the reason that this is called emotional granularity. So as I said, emotional granularity is the ability to precisely identify and label specific emotions, and not just like sadness, happiness. This is so essential because it enhances your emotional regulation. It makes you so much more of a regulated person because you know exactly, like not just like a vague idea. The brain loves clarity. The brain absolutely loves clarity. And when you give it to yourself, you become more emotionally intelligent. You become much more calmer, much more in control over everything. And that's going to make you hotter. Now, number 4 is to identify your triggers. Okay, if you're like someone like me, when I was younger, I used to get literally rage baited by everything. Like I used to get so angry. And when I took time for like years and years to notice this stuff and say, okay, what is it, this specific thing? And I used to write it down in a journal, write it down somewhere, because it just tells your brain that it's physical now, it's real, this is exactly what it is. And I would notice these are the types of situations that really piss me off. These are the types of people, these are the types of things. So I know naturally to avoid it. And if I can't avoid it, because you can't, okay, you cannot like just avoid everything that pisses you off. I still sit and I'm like, okay, I know exactly how I feel, I know exactly why. Therefore, I can detach myself from the emotion and I won't react because I'm like, okay, I know what this is. I think very logically in the emotion, and it helps your brain calm down because you know exactly what's going on and why. And that is hot as fuck. That is so hot because you realize how like smart you have to be, how in control of yourself you have to be to do that. Okay, number 5 is to really, really analyze yourself. like I said, really at the beginning, really analyze yourself. Make yourself like, I make myself like a personal project. Like, notice every tiny thing, because number one, you'll be more in control of yourself, and number two, you will actually be like better able to help other people. Because have you not noticed, the people that don't know anything about themselves, they cannot provide for other people. The reason that I'm somebody who can really carry the weight of people, and I can really take care of people, and you know what I mean? Obviously, I've got my limits, I'm not like God, but it is because I'm so secure in myself, I'm so solid in myself, that I don't need, I have an overflowing amount of secureness. So anyone who needs taken care of, or like that sort of thing, I can provide that, because that's just second nature to me. Now, the next one is a very interesting one, is improving your awareness physiologically, which can be said as somatic awareness and interoception. So what this is understanding and identifying your body signals. For example, your heart rate, your body temperature, muscle tension, even hunger for some fat fucks out there like myself. So when you identify these, you shift from like an automatic response like place to a very conscious and proactive like place of being. So you're able to be a proactive person and not just like do exactly what naturally comes to you. That's what makes you smarter, that's what makes you hotter, because of the control that you have over yourself, your reactions and whatever you do, right? Because 95% of the thoughts that we have, like 95% of us, we're run by the subconscious mind. And those are thoughts that you don't have to consciously think about. So 5% of your thoughts are going to be different. 95% of them are going to be the same as yesterday, because we're on this constant wiring of subconscious like stuff, which is why it can be so difficult at the beginning to stop yourself from reacting. But when you start thinking consciously, it's like something shifts. Like you feel like, oh my God, I actually have control over everything. And it's a skill that you genuinely can master. You just have to practice it, honestly. Just practice thinking, what am I actually thinking right now? Notice your thoughts, because you'll be so in control over, actually, I'm not going to act this way. I'm going to choose to act this way. And it's so powerful and it's so attractive, because again, nothing can affect you, which is just fucking hot. Of course, that's not necessarily going to be easy at first. Like I remember, like this was years ago, but when I used to get rage baited, I used to say, no, okay, next time I know exactly what is going to piss me off, but this time I'm going to do this. I'm not going to react to it. I'm going to be all nonchalant and shit. The time would come, and I would shut up for a little longer, and then I would burst. I'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And this is why it takes time. Now I'm able to just genuinely just do nothing, because it's taken me years to practice that. And you're not a fucking evil person for being angry. Can I just say that? Like, I feel like it's so misunderstood. Like, it's something that comes with practice. So honestly, just the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. It does take patience though, but either way, it's going to develop your patience. Because I think this is why I'm so patient and calm right like now, because I did this. Like it was literally like, yeah. So what thinking consciously and all this does is it improves your stability, your stress management, etc. And all these things, like I said, they contribute to your like balance between your emotional and non-emotional, like your emotional and your logical mind, which a lot of people struggle with. But when people have that balance, it's very attractive. It's very hot, because for example, I find it so easy to be very empathetic and understanding over people, and very caring, but also very logical. So when something upsets me, I feel it because I'm a human being, but then I will be logical about it. I won't try and be nasty or like all this stuff, because it's not logical. And that is very attractive, because first, you're going to be a more respectful person to other people. You're going to be more stable, and stable people are attractive. Like that's just how it is. To other stable people. So you need to find this balance, and you're going to do that by understanding yourself physiologically, your triggers, your own self-awareness, and everything else that I've mentioned. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. I promise you, if you work on your emotional intelligence, you will be 10 times hotter. And if you're not, then you can email me that I suck. But yeah, I promise you will actually be hotter if you're more emotionally intelligent, and you'll just be more stable and happier. So why would you not want to do that? All right. Well, that's all I've got, I'm pretty sure. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.